Hi everybody, this is Judy again. I wanted to do a little follow-up video on these watercolor brush pens that I so dearly love. The Akashiya Sai watercolor brush pens. They come from Japan. Their colors are vibrant, they're beautiful. They're preloaded with single colors. I bought a set of 20, their smallest one. They run for around 28 bucks for a package. You can get them on Amazon. What can't you get on Amazon, right? Okay. And I was so excited demonstrating this that I just assumed that it would work the same way on all different papers, and I was so wrong. I started to paint this one, which is of a black woman whose body is painted, and so I started up here in the shade. This color would not blend with water, it wouldn't move, it just sunk in, and it went right through the paper. And that's what gave me the idea that maybe I should do this follow-up video to warn you about that before you make an investment in these pens. So, the papers I'm going to be using is ordinary cardstock, very good 300-pound watercolor paper, and then this is Strathmore Bristol board paper, which has that coating on it that I talked about. And that was the one that I found blended so nicely, like you see here. We're going to see if we can get the colors to blend on these other papers as well. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to take a wet brush, and I'm going to start with the Bristol board, and I'm just going to wet this with water. I gotta get up. There we go. Use a blue. Okay, so when I touch this here, you see it kind of is, it just goes along and it spreads so nicely. Now, too much water, and what happens is the brush itself sucks the water in, and hardly any pigment comes out. If you want something very sheer, that would work, but not over a long period of time. Now I'm going to go down here. I did not wet this, and I am going to paint this, and you'll notice that the pigment's starting to come out of this pen. After it got over the initial shock of sucking up water. This is not a preferred thing to do because you don't want to dilute what's in the pen as you go down and you're using it more. So it would be better, so there you go, just painting it straight out of the pen. Get a good solid color. There you go. Now I'm going to go over here to this side, and I'm going to lay in some pigment. Just halfway, and I always cap these. Get a little water here. And I'm going to take and add water to this, and we get much more of a blended result. shove it back. There we go. So you get two different kinds of feel for that. That gives you kind of a three-dimensional look. So this way, pre-wetting it is not recommended, as the pen can soak it up and dilute the pigment in the pen, so I don't recommend that. This is just if you want to lay it on like the manga do for a solid color. And this is laying a little pigment on and then spreading it with water. So now we're going to do the same thing on a piece of watercolor paper. So the first thing I'm going to do, so I'm just going to wet this. Now that's interesting. It didn't suck up the water into the pen at all. So that is 300-pound cold press. I bought it at Cheap Joe's watercolor sampler packet. Okay, so that's wetting it first, then putting the pigment on. So an entirely different result from what happened here. This was not too good on there. Now I'm going to try, what did I do? I went down here and I'm just going to lay the pigment on without any water. See how it works. And you know, the texture on this watercolor paper is a bit rougher. And hopefully it can be just as accurate, but that roughness could not keep your accuracy very good. That came up nice and dark. Okay. Now let's try the half and half. Remember, this is a 300-pound watercolor paper. Entirely different result. No, I didn't do that right, did I? Let me start that over. I'm going to do that. That was meant to be done this way. Sorry about that. Where you add the pigment first. This is, to me, very important. I like blending. Is that going to blend out? And how well will it blend out? Wow. Doesn't blend as well as the other, does it? That's really interesting. It doesn't blend as well as this one. And this is the one that's the Bristol board. That blended nicer than this one does. Interesting. Now I'm going to try something else too. I'm going to take a lighter blue and put it in that same area and see if that won't blend. No, not as well. This is the 300-pound. It doesn't blend as well. It's a very distinct line where this one is very blended in, very smooth. I really like this. And I'm very surprised at this, the Hunt 300-pound. And this, did we do it? Okay. We're going to go to the cardstock next. and I'm going to wet the top. Oh. Yeah, if you wet it first, it works. Wow. Now, because that's wet, let me see what it'll do with blending. Interesting. It will pill, though, on you. That means gets little fibers of paper that start coming up if you keep rubbing it. So it doesn't take the beating. Yeah, it's starting to pill on me now. And I don't recommend this. Alright. So I think the one that wins is my favorite, the Bristol board. That's the one that wins. And that's far cheaper than the watercolor paper. So I just wanted you to know this one, you can see it's going through the back. And it's puckering because it's got water to it. It blended okay. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that comparison note. And save you some money. You don't want to be buying a lot of products if they're not going to work with these brushes. And you know, even if I did this with liquid watercolors, which I normally use, same result would happen here. It'd be the same thing because these are liquid too. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me for this little demo. You have a great day.